The gun was already rising when she threw her arms around him. Reina Moreau didn't know his name, didn't know about the blood on his hands or the empire built on broken bones. All she saw was a man standing alone in the rain, shoulders bent like he'd been carrying the world too long. She saw her father in that posture, saw every person who'd ever needed someone to just hold on. So she hugged him. The plaza went silent. 30 men in black suits froze mid-step. Someone dropped a briefcase. The sound of it hitting wet concrete echoed like a gunshot. Luca Verezzi, the man they call the architect, the man who'd made senators weep and kings beg, stood completely still. His expensive coat was soaked through. Rain dripped from his dark hair, and wrapped around his chest was a stranger in a coffee-stained apron, trembling but holding tight. "Sir," his lieutenant whispered, hand on his weapon. "Should we?" Luca raised one finger. Just one. The entire convoy stopped breathing. Would you have dared to hug a stranger in chaos? Comment below if you think she was brave or foolish. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family. Enjoy the story. 3 minutes earlier, Reina had been carrying groceries. Her little brother Noel needed dinner. The medicine for his asthma cost $200 she didn't have. Her shift at the diner ended at midnight. Life was a tightrope made of debt and exhaustion, but she walked it anyway because Noel smiled when she came home. Then the motorcade arrived. Black cars like coffins on wheels. Men with earpieces and dead eyes. She'd seen the news about the Verezzi family. Everyone had. But news felt far away when you were just trying to survive. She saw him standing there, separate from his guards, staring at the rain like it was the only honest thing left in the world. Something in his face cracked her open. Maybe it was the grief. Maybe it was the loneliness that looked exactly like hers. So she walked over, dropped her grocery bags, and hugged a complete stranger. Now, as reality crashed back in, she felt the weight of 40 eyes on her skin, felt the tension coiling through the air like a living thing. She made a terrible mistake. Luca's voice came soft, almost amused. "Do you make a habit of hugging killers?" Reina pulled back, met his eyes. They were darker than the storm, sharper than any blade. Every gun in the plaza turned toward her. The black cars arrived at 9:47 p.m. Reina knew because she'd been watching the clock, praying the minutes would move faster, willing time to erase what happened in the plaza. Noel was asleep in the next room. Their apartment smelled like burnt toast and a lavender cleaner she used to hide the mold smell. Normal. Safe. Hers. Then she heard the engines. Not one car. 6. Maybe more. They moved like sharks through dark water, silent and inevitable. She looked out the window and her heart stopped. The entire street was blocked. Men in dark suits stepped out, synchronized, professional. They didn't rush. Didn't need to. They owned the moment completely. Mrs. Chan from 3B peeked through her curtains, then disappeared. Mr. Rodriguez grabbed his kids and locked his door. The whole building held its breath. Reina's hands shook as she deadbolted the door. Checked the locks twice. Put herself between the hallway and Noel's room. She'd fought off landlords and bill collectors and men who thought a woman alone was easy prey. But this was different. This was organized. Inevitable. 3 knocks. Calm. Patient. Terrifying. "Miss Moreau." The voice came through the door smooth as expensive whiskey. "We need to talk. If you saw black cars outside your home after a mistake like hers, what would you do? Let me know." She recognized that voice. Luca Verezzi. The man she'd hugged. The man whose eyes held oceans of violence wrapped in silk. "I'm calling the police," she said, hating how her voice cracked. "No, you're not. Not a threat. Just a fact. Because you're smart enough to know I'm not here to hurt you. Then why are you here?" Silence. Then softer, almost human, "Because you did something no one's done in 15 years. You surprised me." Behind her, Noel's door opened. Her little brother stood there in his Superman pajamas, 10 years old and too brave for his own good. "Reina? Who's that? Go back to bed, baby. Is it about the hug?" His voice was small. "I saw it on somebody's phone at school." Her stomach dropped. Of course it was online. Of course the whole city had seen her wrap her arms around the most dangerous man in the state. The engines outside kept idling. waiting, patient as death. Luca's voice came again, and this time she heard something underneath the control. Something almost like respect. "Miss Moreau, we need to talk. I'll stand where you can see me through the peephole. I'll keep my hands visible. But this conversation is happening tonight." Raina's fingers touched the lock. Every instinct screamed run, but there was nowhere to run to. Not anymore. She opened the door. Luca Verezzi stood in her hallway, expensive suit perfect despite the rain, and smiled like he'd just won a game she didn't know they were playing. He looked different up close, younger than the news photos, tired in a way money couldn't fix. "May I?" He gestured to her tiny living room like it was a palace. Raina didn't move from the doorway. "You have 2 minutes." "Fair." He walked past her, careful not to touch, not to threaten. Took in the cracked ceiling, the second-hand furniture, the stack of medical bills on the counter she thought she'd hidden. His eyes missed nothing. Noel watched from his bedroom door, silent as a ghost. 3 hours ago, Luca began, "You hugged me in Meridian Plaza. Do you know what was happening when you did that? I saw a man standing in the rain. You saw a target." He turned to face her. Marco Tessio had a sniper on the roof. "Red, that was right here." He touched his chest, left side, exactly where her head had been when she wrapped her arms around him. "Your hug moved me 6 inches. The bullet hit my shoulder instead of my heart." The room tilted. "I didn't. I know. That's what makes it remarkable." He pulled something from his pocket. A flattened bullet. "This was meant to kill me. You accidentally saved my life." Ever had a moment where kindness got you into more trouble than good? Share your story below. Raina's mind raced. This couldn't be real. She just wanted to comfort someone. Now this man, this criminal, was standing in her home talking about bullets and snipers like they were weather patterns. "I don't want anything from you," she said. "I didn't know. It was a mistake. Mistakes have consequences." His voice went cold. "In my world, debts are permanent. You saved my life, Raina Moreau. That means something. It doesn't mean anything. I don't want your money or your protection or whatever you think." Too late. He moved closer, not threatening. "Inevitable. I looked into you. Single mother to your brother. Father died 5 years ago. Mother left before that. You work 3 jobs. Noel has asthma. Medical debt is drowning you. You're 26 years old and you're already running on empty." Rage flooded through her fear. "Get out of my house. Your rent is 2 months overdue. Get out. I paid it 6 months in advance. Also cleared your medical debt. Consider it a down payment." The words hit like punches. She couldn't breathe. "You had no right. I had every right. You saved my life, Raina Moreau." He handed her a card. Heavy stock. Gold lettering. "Now I'll protect yours, whether you like it or not." Noel stepped forward. "Are you going to hurt my sister?" Luca looked at the boy for a long moment. Something shifted in his face. Something almost human. "No, I'm going to make sure nobody else does either." He walked to the door, then paused. "You'll hear from me soon. Answer when I call. And if I don't," he smiled, and it was the saddest thing she'd ever seen. "Then you'll understand why people fear me." The door closed. The engine started. The black cars disappeared like they'd never been there. Raina looked at the card in her hand. One sentence embossed in gold. "The Orium, where debts become destinies." The invitation arrived 3 days later. Cream-colored envelope. Her name in calligraphy that probably cost more than her car. "You are cordially invited to interview for a position at the Orium. Monday, 2 p.m. Formal attire recommended." Raina threw it in the trash, then pulled it out, then threw it away again. Noel found her staring at the garbage can at midnight. "You're going to go, aren't you?" "Absolutely not." "Liar." He climbed onto the counter, skinny legs swinging. "Too smart for 10. Too knowing. You've been researching that restaurant for 3 days. I saw your browser history." She had. The Orium was legendary. 5 stars. Impossible reservations. Presidents dine there. Movie stars. People who shaped the world over wine that cost more than rent. It was owned by Luca Verezzi. "It's a trap," she said. "Maybe, but we're already trapped, aren't we?" Noel's voice went quiet. "You work 70 hours a week, and we're still broke. Maybe this trap has better food." Do you think she should have accepted the job or walked away for good? Comment what you would have done. Monday came too fast. She wore her one good dress, black and simple, the one she'd bought for Dad's funeral. Took 2 buses and walked 4 blocks. The Orium sat in the financial district like a jewel in a crown, all glass and light and impossible elegance. The host took one look at her and smiled. "Miss Moreau, we've been expecting you." Inside was another world. Crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths like clouds. The air smelled like money and secrets. Every table held people who made decisions that changed lives. Lucas sat in the back corner, private booth, reading a leather-bound menu. He stood when he saw her. Perfect manners, perfect suit, perfect mask. "You came. I shouldn't have, but you did. Seat, please." She didn't want to, but her feet moved anyway. The booth was butter-soft leather. The menu had no prices. A waiter appeared with water in crystal that caught light like diamonds. "I don't want your charity," she said. "Good. I'm not offering any." He closed his menu. "I'm offering you a job. Head hostess. $40 an hour. Benefits. Health care. Your brother's medication would be covered." Her heart hammered. "Why?" "Because you're good with people. You see them. Really see them. That's rare." He leaned forward. "And because I keep my debts. You saved me. Now I'm giving you a choice." "This isn't a choice. It's a golden cage." "Maybe." His eyes held hers. "But good people survive when they learn how to fight quietly." The words hung between them like a promise and a threat. A man in an expensive suit walked past their booth, paused, stared at Luca with murder in his eyes, then kept walking. But Raina felt it. The violence underneath everything. The danger that dressed up in nice clothes and smiled. "What did you do to him?" she whispered. "I exist. That's enough for some people." Luca's voice went cold. "The world isn't fair, Miss Moreau, but in my world, loyalty is currency. And you just became very valuable." She should have run, should have walked out and never looked back. Instead, she heard herself say, "When do I start?" The Orium taught her things school never had. How to read people by the way they held their wine glass. How to smile while someone threatened you. How to disappear into the background until you were needed. She was good at it. Too good. 3 weeks in, and she could spot a deal going bad from across the room. Could tell which tables needed space and which needed intervention. Could sense violence before it bloomed. Luca watched her, always watching, not like a predator, like a scientist studying something fascinating and dangerous. "You're a natural," he said one night, after the last guest left. "At lying, at surviving." He poured 2 glasses of wine. Red, expensive, probably older than her. "Your father taught you well." She froze. "You don't know anything about my father. David Moreau. Worked as an accountant for various businesses downtown. Died in a car accident 5 years ago. Police ruled it a brake failure." Luca's voice was careful. Too careful. "But you never believed that, did you?" Her hand shook. "How do you?" "I know everything about the people I'm connected to. It's how I stay alive." He slid a folder across the table. "Manila. Thin. Heavy as a tombstone. I think you should see this." Should Raina confront him now? Or wait until she has proof? What would your heart say? She didn't want to touch it. Knew that opening it would change everything. But her hands moved anyway. Opened the cover. Inside were police reports. Photographs. Her father's car, crumpled like paper. Notes in the margins, handwritten, questioning the official story. And there, on the last page, a list of names. Business associates. People her father had worked for. Luca's name was 3rd from the top. The wine glass slipped from her fingers. Shattered on marble. Red spreading like blood. "You knew him." Her voice was ash. "You knew my father." "Yes. And you never told me." "I'm telling you now." She stood. The room spun. "Did you kill him?" "No." Luca's face was stone. "But I know who did. And I've spent 5 years making sure they paid for it." Lies. Had to be lies. But his eyes held something she'd never seen before. Grief. Real and raw and ancient. Why would you care about some accountant? Because he was trying to do the right thing. Because he found corruption in my organization and came to me instead of the police. Because I promised him I'd protect his family if anything happened. His voice cracked. And I failed him. Raina backed away. Hit the wall. Couldn't breathe. I hugged the man who destroyed my family. No, he stood. You hugged the man who spent 5 years trying to make it right. The man who found you and your brother because he swore an oath. The man who, get away from me. She ran. Through the restaurant. Past the kitchen. Out the service door into the alley where rain was falling again. Always falling, washing nothing clean. Behind her, Luca's voice carried through the darkness. Raina, wait. There's more you need to know. Your brother. But she was already gone. Running. Running. With the truth chasing her like wolves, and the past eating everything she thought she knew. When she got home, Noelle was gone. Just a note on the kitchen table. 7 words in blocky handwriting that stopped her heart. We have questions about your employer. Noelle. The phone was already in her hand when it rang. Luca. Of course it was Luca. Where is he? Raina's voice was ice and fire. Where's my brother? I don't have him. Panic. Real panic in his voice. She'd never heard that before. Raina, listen to me very carefully. Marco Tessio's people took him. The man whose sniper you stopped. He's using Noelle as bait. The room went sideways. She grabbed the counter to stay standing. Why? Why would he? Because taking something from me hurts worse than any bullet. His voice hardened. And he thinks you're mine. I'm not yours. I'm not anyone's. I know that. He doesn't care. Sound of car doors slamming. Engines roaring. I'm sending people to you now. Stay inside. Lock everything. I'm going to get him back. No. The word came out steel. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. These men will kill you without blinking. Then they'll have to kill me. Because I'm not sitting here while my brother's scared and alone. She was already grabbing her jacket. Keys. The knife she kept in the drawer. You owe me, remember? You said you'd protect us. So protect him. But I'm going to be there when you do. Would you forgive someone who once ruined your family, but now risks everything to save you? Silence on the line. Then, quieter, almost admiring. Your father would be proud of how stubborn you are. Meet me at the South Docks in 20 minutes. And Raina, bring that fire. We're going to need it. The docks smelled like salt and diesel and old violence. Shipping containers stacked like a metal maze. Shadows everywhere. Luca waited with 6 men, all armed, all watching her like she was either very brave or very stupid. He's in warehouse 12, Lucas said, showing her a phone with a grainy photo. Noelle, tied to a chair, lip bleeding but alive. Alive. Tessio wants a trade. You and the boy for me. Then let's trade. It's a trap. He'll kill all 3 of us the second he has the chance. So what's your plan? Luca's smile was winter. I'm going to give him exactly what he wants. Me. Alone. Unarmed. And while he's focused on his revenge, my people will get Noelle out. That's suicide. Yes. He checked his gun, then set it down. Removed his knife. His phone. Everything. But your father died trying to stop men like Tessio. Died trying to protect people who couldn't protect themselves. I failed him then. I won't fail him now. He started walking toward the warehouse. Just walking. Like he was going to dinner instead of execution. Raina grabbed his arm. Wait. If you're doing this for guilt, for some debt to my father, I'm doing this because it's right. He looked at her, and his eyes were clear. Honest. Human. Your father taught me that good men can exist in bad systems. That sometimes the only way to fix something broken is from the inside. He died trying. I've spent 5 years continuing his work. Quietly. Carefully. Turning in corrupt cops. Feeding information to the FBI. Dismantling my own empire piece by piece. Why? Because he asked me to. Because he believed I could be better. Luca's voice cracked. And because I failed him. But I won't fail you. He pulled free and walked into the darkness. Raina heard Tessio's laugh echo across the water. Heard Noelle scream. Heard gunshots that tore the night apart. Then silence. Terrible silence. A figure emerged from the warehouse. Bloodied. Limping. But carrying a boy in Superman pajamas who was crying and breathing and alive. Luca collapsed at her feet. It's done. He's safe. Behind him, the warehouse was burning. The hospital lights were too bright. Noelle slept in the bed, bruised but whole. Lucas sat in the corner, bandaged, watching the door like enemies might pour through any second. Tessio's dead, he said quietly. His entire operation is gone. But there will be others. There are always others. Raina held her brother's hand. Then what was the point? The point is that tonight, one boy lives who might have died. One family stays together. That's not nothing. He stood, winced. I've arranged security for you. New apartment. Better building. Guards who? No. Raina. I said no. She turned to face him. I don't want your guards, or your money, or your guilt. I want the truth. All of it. About my father. About what he found. About what you've really been doing for 5 years. What would you do if the only person who could save your family was the one you swore to hate? Luca sat down heavy, suddenly looked older than his years. Your father found proof that 3 senators, 2 judges, and half the police force were on my family's payroll. Not just taking bribes. Actively helping us traffic weapons, drugs, people. He brought it to me because he thought I didn't know. Thought I was just a businessman who'd inherited a bad legacy. Were you? I was willfully blind. It's not the same as innocent. He pulled out a USB drive. This has everything. Every name. Every transaction. Every crime. Your father copied it before he died. Hid it. I've spent 5 years finding the rest. Confirming it. And tonight, I sent it to the FBI, the State Attorney General, and 3 newspapers. The words hung in the air like smoke. You just destroyed your own empire. Yes. Why? Because staying in power isn't worth becoming the thing your father died fighting against. He looked at Noel, sleeping peacefully. And because that boy deserves to grow up in a world where men like me don't exist. Raina's hand shook. They'll kill you for this. Probably. But I have one more thing to do first. He stood, walked to the door, paused. There's an envelope in your apartment. Instructions for Noel's trust fund, college, medical care, everything he needs. And there's a letter from your father. He wrote it the day before he died. Asked me to give it to you when you were old enough to understand. Understand what? That good people don't always survive, but their choices do. Their love does. Their hope does. Lucas smiled, sad and broken and somehow beautiful. He was proud of you, Raina. Even knowing he might not live to see who you'd become. He was so damn proud. The door opened. Federal agents. Badges. Handcuffs. Luca went quietly. Look back once. Take care of him. And take care of yourself. You're stronger than you know. Then he was gone. Noel woke up. Where's Mr. Verezzi? He had to go away for a while. Is he coming back? Raina looked at the empty doorway. At the space where a broken man had stood and chosen redemption over survival. I don't know, baby. I really don't know. Outside, a black car waited. Engine running. Patient. But this time, she wasn't afraid. The news broke like a tidal wave. 50 arrests in 48 hours. Senators. Judges. Police captains. The Verezzi organization dismantled piece by piece. Everything Luca had protected, he burned himself. The media called it the biggest corruption scandal in state history. Called Luca a turncoat, a traitor, a dead man walking. Raina called him something else. She just couldn't find the word. 3 days after his arrest, men came for Noel again. Not cops, not feds, the ones who'd survived Luca's purge, the ones who wanted blood. They kicked in her door at 3 a.m. 4 of them, armed, professional. Noel screamed. Raina put herself between them and her brother, kitchen knife in shaking hands, knowing it wouldn't be enough. Then gunfire. Fast. Precise. The men dropped like puppets with cut strings. In the doorway stood Luca's lieutenant, the one from the plaza. Boss said you might have visitors. We've been watching. Luca's in prison. Boss is always 3 steps ahead. Even from his cell. He checked the bodies. Spoke into his radio. Send the cleaners. And tell the lady her new apartment's ready. Better security this time. Would you call Luca a villain? Or a man finally seeking redemption? Comment below. The new place was different. Safer. But Raina couldn't sleep. Kept seeing Luca's face. Kept thinking about choices and consequences and the weight of trying to fix things you helped break. She visited him once. Federal holding facility. They sat separated by glass, spoke through phones that crackled with distance. You shouldn't be here, he said. Looked thinner. Tired. Almost peaceful. You saved us. Again. I endangered you by existing. There's a difference. He leaned forward. The trial starts next month. I'm cooperating fully. They're offering me 20 years instead of life. I'll take it. 20 years. Could be worse. Could be dead. He smiled that sad smile. Your father got 5 years of peace before they killed him. I'm getting 20 years to try and earn mine. I'll take that trade. This isn't fair. Fair is a fairy tale we tell children. This is justice. Quiet justice. The kind your father believed in. His voice dropped. There's something else. The men who killed him. 3 of them are in the arrests. They'll go to trial. You'll finally have answers. Real ones. Tears burned her eyes. He'd be proud of you. He'd be proud of you. You survived everything and stayed good. That's harder than anything I've ever done. The guard called time. Lucas stood, pressed his palm to the glass. Raina matched it, felt the cold barrier between them, between the life she had and the one she might have wanted. Take care, Noelle, and take care of yourself. His eyes held hers. And maybe visit, sometimes, if you want. No pressure. But it gets lonely in here, and you're one of the few people who sees me as human instead of monster. You're not a monster. I'm a man who did monstrous things and is trying to atone. That's not redemption. That's just homework. He smiled. But maybe in 20 years, I'll have earned the right to be called human again. The call ended. He walked away. Didn't look back. Raina drove home through dawnlight. Found Noelle making breakfast. Terrible, burned breakfast. But he was smiling. Safe. Alive. On the counter sat a letter. Her father's handwriting. She finally opened it. The letter was simple. For pages. Her father's voice reaching across 5 years like he was sitting right there. Dear Raina, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry. I tried to do the right thing, and it cost me everything. But not you. Never you. I made Luke a promise. Made him swear on everything he holds sacred that he'd watch over you and Noelle if anything happened. I know his reputation. Know what he's capable of. But I also see something in him nobody else does. The capacity for change. For redemption. For choosing good even when evil is easier. I'm betting your future on that hope. I'm betting that the man who cried when I showed him what his organization had become will be the man who protects you when I'm gone. Trust him, not blindly, but fairly. See him as human. That's all anyone really wants. To be seen, to be known, to be given a chance to be better than yesterday. I love you. I'm proud of you. And I'm sorry I won't be there to see the incredible woman you become. But I know you'll be okay. Because you're stronger than me. Stronger than fear. Stronger than hate. You're love wearing human skin. And love always wins. Eventually, even when it doesn't look like victory. Love you forever, Dad. Do you think Luca is still alive or watching from the shadows? What's your theory? Raina read it 3 times. Cried until she couldn't anymore. Then got up. Made real breakfast. Took Noelle to school. Went to work at a new job. Normal job where nobody carried guns or had blood on their hands. Life moved forward. Quiet. Simple. Safe. Months passed. Luca's trial made headlines. Full cooperation. 20-year sentence. Eligible for parole in 12. The corruption cases toppled like dominoes. Senators resigned. Judges disbarred. The city slowly, painfully started healing. Raina visited him sometimes. Not often, but enough. They talked about books, about Noelle's grades, about everything except the past or the future. Just the present. This moment, this conversation, this strange, broken friendship built on tragedy and choices and try to do better. I'm opening something, she told him during one visit. A cafe. Small place. Good coffee. Safe space. Calling it Moreau's. After your father? After all of us. Dad. You. Me. Everyone who tried to fix things even when it cost them everything. I like that. He looked older now. Prison did that. But also lighter. Like a weight had lifted. Will you save me a table? For 12 years from now. Front row seat. Best coffee in the city. On the house. I'll hold you to that. 2 years later, Moreau's Cafe opened. Cream walls. Good light. Windows that let in the world without letting in danger. Raina worked the counter. Noelle helped after school. Regular people came. Told stories. Shared coffee. Built community. And one morning, she found an envelope slipped under the door. No postage. No return address. Just her name in elegant script. Inside was a single card. Proud of you. Stay strong. Stay good. LV. She looked outside. A black car sat across the street. Windows tinted. Engine running. She walked to the door. Stepped outside. Waved. The car's brake lights flashed once. Then it drove away. Slow. Peaceful. Like a ghost finally released. Raina smiled. Went back inside. Made coffee. Lived her life. The past was done. The future was coming. And for the first time in years, she wasn't afraid of either. Walter Darnell here. 74 years watching stories unfold. Seen a lot of folks make a lot of choices. But Raina Moreau's story? That one sticks with you. See, we get confused about justice. Think it's ought to be loud, dramatic, courtrooms and handcuffs, and people getting what they deserve in ways we can see. But the real justice? The kind that actually changes things? That's quiet. That's choosing good when evil is easier. That's standing in the rain and hugging a stranger because maybe, just maybe, everyone needs saving. Raina didn't set out to change the world. She just wanted to help one person in a moment of pain. Didn't know he was powerful. Didn't care. Saw someone hurting and reached out. That hug saved a life. That life changed a city. That city became a little safer for folks like Noel. Like all the kids who deserve to grow up without men like Luca used to be. But here's the thing that gets me. Luca's in prison now, paying for sins that could fill a book. But he's also the reason Raina's Cafe exists. The reason Noel's in college. The reason 3 dozen corrupt officials are behind bars instead of making policy. If you believe in second chances and quiet justice, hit that like button, share Raina's story, and subscribe for more true life redemption tales. So what is he? Monster or man? Villain or hero? Maybe he's just human, like all of us, capable of terrible things and beautiful things and everything in between. Maybe redemption isn't about erasing what we've done. It's about choosing better every single day, even when nobody's watching, even when it costs us everything. Raina visits him sometimes, not from obligation, from something else. Understanding, maybe, respect for someone trying to climb out of a hole they dug themselves. She brings Noel once a year. The boy's 17 now, wants to be a lawyer, wants to prosecute corruption cases, wants to finish what his grandfather started. Luca cried when Noel told him that. Proud tears, the kind you earned through years of hard choices and harder consequences. Last I heard, Moreau's Cafe was expanding. Second location, hiring folks fresh out of prison who need second chances. Partnering with programs for at-risk youth. Building something that'll outlast all of them. And somewhere in a federal prison, Luca Verezzi serves his time. Quietly, patiently, teaching other inmates to read. Helping with legal paperwork. Being useful. Being human. Being better than he was. One hug saved a life. One choice redeemed a soul. That's the kind of power we forget we have. The power to see people. Really see them. Not as their worst moment or their biggest mistake, but as human beings capable of change. Worthy of change. 7 years from now, Luca gets his parole hearing. Word is Raina's planning to speak on his behalf. Not because he's perfect, but because he's trying. And maybe that's all redemption really is. Trying. Choosing good. Building something better from the rubble of what you destroyed. The black cars don't come around anymore. The violence moved on to other cities, other empires, other men who think power means more than compassion. But on quiet mornings, if you go to Moreau's Cafe right when it opens, you'll see Raina standing in the doorway with coffee in hand, looking at the street where it all began, where chaos became kindness, where fear became courage, where a single hug changed everything. She smiles at dawn like she's waiting for something, someone. And maybe someday he'll walk through that door. Older, tired, free. Maybe she'll pour him that cup of coffee she promised. Best in the city, on the house. Maybe they'll sit in comfortable silence. 2 people who survived the storm and came out human on the other side. Or maybe he'll stay a ghost, a shadow, a memory of the man who chose redemption over survival. Either way, the story's real. The change is real. The quiet justice is real. That's what I want you to remember. That kindness isn't weakness. That compassion isn't naive. That seeing someone's humanity doesn't mean ignoring their sins. It means believing people can be better. giving them space to try, and holding them accountable when they fail. Reyna Moreau hugged a killer in the rain and saved his life. He spent the rest of his life trying to deserve it. And somewhere in that exchange, in that impossible moment, justice was served. Quiet, powerful, real. So next time you see someone standing alone in the rain, maybe take a second. See them. Really see them. You never know what moment of kindness might change everything. That's the power we all have. The power to save a life with a hug. To change a soul with compassion. To build justice one quiet choice at a time. And that, friends, is a story worth telling. Worth remembering. Worth living. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next story. Share your thoughts in the comments about second chances, redemption, and the power of quiet justice. Your story might inspire someone who needs to hear it today. This is Walter Darnell, reminding you that every moment is a choice. Choose kindness. Choose courage. Choose to see people as human. The rest will follow.